House. You know, we've got several groups in this state that are strong Second Amendments. We've always been strong Second Amendments, but quite frankly, there's a little thing about political power and influence runs downhill. We live in a state, unfortunately, I've seen the power and the influence of the legislature wane over the whole 30 years I've been here. It's always been usurped by the power of the executive office. It's because we're a part-time legislature and the governor's there. But we never had a governor that promoted permitless carry, or that term constitutional carry. So for the naysayers out there in radio land that can hear what I'm saying, there's a lot of members of this House that's always been Second Amendment strong. But if you don't have a governor that says that he'll support the bill, we're not going to pass a bill that he's going to veto. That'd be crazy. So we now have a governor who has said that he will support permitless carry. That's the difference, ladies and gentlemen. And let's move on to the next step. And I would encourage you to cast your green vote on this board. Don't say I'm Second Amendment, but, because we know what that means. Stand up and support your Constitution, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Speaker, thank you for the time, and I will yield this well.
Is there any objection to withdrawing the committee substitute? The chair hears none. The committee substitute is withdrawn. Is there any objection to adopting the substitute offered by the Committee on Rules? The chair hears none. The Rules Committee substitute is adopted. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All those in favor of the passage of the bill will vote aye. Those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machines. What purpose does Representative McLeod rise?
Parliamentary inquiry.
State your inquiry.
Is it true that if we were really confident that guns don't kill people, then we would demand that the metal detectors be removed from the Capitol?
Well, I think that addresses itself to the judgment of each and every member. What purpose does Chairman Petrie rise?
Parliamentary inquiry,
State your
Mr. Speaker.
inquiry.
Mr. Speaker, is it not true that according to the CDC, almost every major study on defensive gun use has found that Americans use their firearms defensively about 1.7 million times annually?
If the gentleman so states, I'm sure he sincerely believes that to be true. What purpose does Representative Derrick Jackson rise?
Parliamentary inquiry.
State your inquiry.
Mr. Speaker, is it not true the reason why we have a fence around this building is because what took place on January 6th when insurrectionists, may I finish?
Allow the gentleman to finish his parliamentary inquiry.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Is it not true the reason why we have a fence around this building is because what took place on January 6th is not because of the criminal activity that took place in Atlanta?
I think the fence was planned in advance of both of those events, Representative. One more parliamentary inquiry, and then we're going to lock the machines. What purpose does Chairman Tarvin rise?
Parliamentary inquiry.
State your inquiry.
Mr. Speaker, is it not true that this fence was planned in 2018 or 19 due to find white powder on the statues out here and all around the Capitol, and it was to keep people out of here at night, not to protect us in the daytime?
I believe that to be true. I know it was planned a number of years ago. All right. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machine on the passage of House Bill 1358. The ayes are 94, the nays are 57. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority is therefore passed. What purpose does Representative Cannon rise?
To make a motion,
State your motion.
I'd like to move that on the next legislative day, this bill be reconsidered by making
Are you
the
making
intent.
a motion that you're serving notice of your intent to ask for reconsideration on the next legislative day?
Yes, I am.
So, so noted. And it will be on the next legislative day's calendar. Clerk will read the caption to House Bill 839.
House Bill 839 by Representative Thomas, the 39th to be entitled an act to incorporate the city of Mableton. This bill having referred to the Committee on Governmental Affairs, that committee recommends that this bill do pass by committee substitute.
Chair recognizes Representative Erica Thomas to present the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I know that the hour is late, and so I'm not going to tarry long on this bill, but it is very important that I speak for the citizens of my district. HB 839 is the proposal of the cityhood of Mableton. Mableton cityhood would give us local control over vital elements of community building, such as zoning, community development, and that in turn will give the community greater autonomy over what happens in our community. People believe right now that Mableton is already a city. I've had so many people come to me and think that it is already a city, and my people want to bring local control closer to their district. At this moment, we have a county commissioner that is over our unincorporated part of Cobb County, which means that that is one commissioner to 186,000 people. This bill would bring it closer to us, putting one city council member to 13,000 people. Cityhood would give Mableton residents closer to their government, like I said before. In this bill, the mayor would be duly elected by the citizens. It would be 6 city council members, which would make it a weak mayor, and the mayor is also duly elected by the people. Now, a feasibility study that was presented 3 years ago, which was able to give the citizens of Mableton 3 years to do about 16 different town halls. We also did a study on our website, the South Cobb Alliance's website, letting people give their opinion on what services they wanted. And of course, they said they wanted sanitation and waste management, they wanted zoning, they wanted economic development, they wanted community development, and that is what we wanted to give them. The feasibility study was presented by the University of Georgia's Carl Vinson Institute, and the study said that we would have a surplus of $3,233.64, which would make us in the black. The last thing that I will say on this bill is that we are state representatives, and I think that is so important, that representative name, and that we let the people be able to pick this at the ballot, be able to go to the ballot and say whether they want the cityhood or whether they don't want the cityhood. And that is exactly what this bill is doing. Mr. Speaker, I think that I explained it to a great extent, and I would ask that everyone in this chamber would vote in favor of the city of Mableton. And what you are voting for is saying that I want the people to be able to vote for whether or not they would like the city of Mableton, even though they believe that the city is already a city. I will yield for questions. Well, like 2 questions, Mr. Speaker. And I'm not going to ask.
You only have one.
Thank you. I was going to ask who it was, but I didn't want to do that to you. I'll yield.
Chair recognizes Representative Ridley to your right for a question.
Does the lady yield?
Yes, I yield.
I think you made a good argument, and I think You made a great argument, by the way. I guess I was just curious, the argument you made, is that kind of the same thing that the people in Buckhead are wanting? And would you agree with that, or how would you feel about that issue?
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Ridley. I don't represent the people of Buckhead, so I don't know what they want. Okay? And so I would say that my bill is not what they want. It's a different jurisdiction, it's different people, and so I can't speak for them because I don't really know them. Any more questions? Because I'm going to yield the well right at that point, because people are...
Some of the people want it, and some of them don't want it, and I'm for the people. How about you?
We're for the people, by the people. With that, Mr. Speaker, I yield the well.
Lady has yielded the well. We have one member who wishes to be heard on the bill. Chair recognizes Chairman Setzler to speak to the bill.
Mr. Speaker, I'd like to thank Representative Thomas for her leadership on this. We have 4 cityhood efforts in Cobb County. Mableton is one of them. We have Lost Mountain, East Cobb, Vinings, and Mableton. I appreciate her consistency and leadership. That cityhood is a great tool in Cobb County where every citizen in unincorporated Cobb has one elected official per 86,000 people, 186,000 people. This cityhood effort is wise, it's thoughtful, and I would ask for strong bipartisan support for the city of Mableton. Thank you.
All right, gentleman has yielded the well. All right. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to adopting the committee substitute? The chair hears none. The committee substitute is adopted. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All those in favor of the passage of the bill will vote aye. Those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machine. What purpose does Representative Bentley rise?
Parliamentary inquiry.
State your inquiry.
Is it not true, Mr. Speaker, that I promised my colleague that I was not going to ask her in the well did her bill have anything to do with the funeral home industry? Is that not true, Mr. Speaker?
I am sure the lady is being truthful as always. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machine on the passage of House Bill 839. The ayes are 134. The nays are 2. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Chair is had a request for an announcement from the Rules Committee Chairman. Chair recognizes Chairman Smith for an announcement.
We've got a little time left, about 3.5, 4 hours. Considering, I'd rather get finished tonight versus next Tuesday night at midnight. So we'll be having a Rules Committee meeting in about 10 minutes.
April Fool. I'm withdrawing that recognition of him. You can disregard his announcement. What purpose does Representative Erica Thomas rise?
I ask that HB 839 be immediately transmitted to the Senate.
I would recognize you for that, except for one problem. The Senate has been long gone. They're not home. The lights are out.
Oh, wow.
Nobody's home over
They
there.
are known for not doing their work, so.
I wish I could recognize you. Chair recognizes, or what purpose does Representative Gravely rise?
That was an accident. Parliamentary inquiry. Or motion, make a motion.
State your motion.
I'd like to suspend the rules that a bill may be read for the first time on the House and referred to committee, Mr. Speaker.
Chairman, or Representative Gravely has moved that the rules of this House be temporarily suspended to allow a bill to be read for the first time and referred to committee. The clerk will read the caption.
Unnumbered House Bill by Representative Gravely, the 67th, to be titled an act to amend an act creating the Board of Commissioners of Paulding County.
On the gentleman's motion, is there any objection? Is there objection? Chair hears none, and it is so ordered. Intergovernmental coordination. What purpose does the Dean of the House rise?
Mr. Speaker, I'd like to make a motion.
State your motion.
I move that House Bill 1335 be transferred from the State Plan and Community Affairs to the Rules Committee, and both chairmen are in agreement.
The Dean Smyrie has moved that House Bill 1335 be transferred from the State Planning and Community Affairs Committee to the Rules Committee. The clerk will read the caption.
House Bill 1335 by Representative Smyrie, the 135th, to be titled an act to amend Chapter 4, Title 1 of the Official Code of Georgia Antietam relating to holidays and observances so as to provide for Public Safety Week.
On the gentleman's motion that House Bill 1335 be transferred from State Planning and Community Affairs to Rules, is there objection? Is there objection? The chair hears none, and it is so ordered. Chair recognizes Representative Gamble for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. After a day like today, y'all all need to be in church on Tuesday morning at 7 o'clock. The fellowship will meet in room 133. I hope to see y'all there.
There are no other announcements. It has been a long day. We've worked hard. Chair wishes you a safe drive back home tonight or in the morning or when you go back. Got a little weather, particularly in the northern part of the state, so be careful. Chair recognizes the Majority Leader of the House for a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Yes, sir. We have had a good day. And I move that this House stand adjourned until 10 a.m. Tuesday, March 15th, 2022.
The Majority Leader has moved that this House be adjourned until Tuesday morning, March 15 at 10 o'clock a.m. I remind you that that is crossover day. That is crossover day.
Yes, sir.
All those in favor of the motion will say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed will say no. The ayes clearly have it. This House will be adjourned until Tuesday, March 15 at 10 a.m.